Good morning or good afternoon or good night or good whatever time it is that you are watching this. Hey guys, I'm coming to you live from my kitchen with a little bit of an update and just wanted to touch base with everybody and let everybody know what's going on with Through the Black. I have some things to tell you, and some of these things have been kind of a long time coming, things that I knew about, but I couldn't announce or I couldn't say for a while. So, anyway, I'm going to be thanking you for your support throughout this video. I'm going to try not to make it too super long, but the first thing I want to mention is this Sunday at Freedom Ridge Church, I am going to be speaking at this church service starts at 10:30 Sunday morning. Anybody is welcome. And the question that we get is, are you streaming this? No, not streaming it yet. We're working on that. Maybe we'll have it figured out by Sunday morning. So I'm going to be talking about this Sunday morning, the rules of engagement, okay? And talking about the authority of Christ. Do you know your authority? My friend Russ Dizdar used to ask that question a lot at conferences. Do you know your authority? And most people did not know their authority, okay? So talking about that, and Jesus said, I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions. I've been praying this morning that whatever I come up with is going to edify people no matter what level they're at, okay? You might be somebody who has experience in doing this. You might be somebody that's new to this or in the middle. I want to see people edified no matter where they're at. What an amazing opportunity for me to speak at this church. I'm going to talk about that in a second. How I got here, okay? This is not anything that I ever thought that I would be doing. But here I am. So all I can say is God has worked out everything. So I'll be interested in your guys' response, comments, feedback, chat or whatever. I realize that a lot of people didn't know that we were doing this. There's not going to be any shows this week, but Pastor Sean and Vicki and I have some shows planned for you next week. I decided to take the week off because I need to prepare for my message on Sunday morning. Plus, there's a lot going on. So what's going on with Through the Black? This is what's been happening, okay? And when I say we, myself, Rob, who works with me, and some of you have seen Rob. He's a guy that I've been going and doing prayer ministry with for over 3 years now. And he's kind of snuck in through the side door and been a part of Through the Black. We have been involved in this church, and we're getting more involved in this church. So some of the things that we're doing is I'm speaking on Sunday morning, okay? Another thing that coming up is on Wednesday night, starting the 2nd of October, I believe it's the 2nd. Next week, I'm going to be teaching a 6-week class. Rob is going to be helping me teach this class. We're teaching it together. And I never came up with a name for this class, but I think I'm going to call it Cutting Edge Christianity. Christians should be on the cutting edge. So we're going to be exposing all kinds of things very topically, but from a Christian worldview. And I'll give you an example. One of the things we're going to talk about is in class setting is what is the difference between atheism and agnosticism? A lot of people don't know. And we are kind of bringing this to a church that hasn't been trained in this, and just your average people that love Jesus, but maybe never even thought about, okay, how do I look this up? A lot of people don't know how to do research, right? So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about a lot of things for 6 weeks. No, as far as I know, that's not going to be streamed. But if you're local, hey, come on out. I'm going to be letting a lot of people know about this, and hopefully we'll get some people coming out. The last class we did in the spring was about the book of Ephesians. We only made it through 4 chapters. It took us 6 weeks. Man, I learned so much. I learned so much from doing that Bible study. And I really feel blessed. I really feel like I benefit more than anybody else because I'm digging deep, because I want to bring something just really, really intense and really deep to the study. So anyway, so that's going to be happening starting on the 2nd. So for the last couple of weeks, we have been doing a Thursday outreach in downtown Mansfield. So I want to say again, if you are a believer and you want to be involved in outreach and you live close enough, come and join us. Send us an email and we will show you how to get involved in that. Okay. We are just setting up a tent, inspired by Pastor Sean, and asking people, do they want prayer? And there's foot traffic there in that part of town, and people are coming up for prayer. This lady came up last week, and she just stopped, and she said, yeah, I need prayer. I'm going through a lot right now. So we prayed for her, and then she just walked on down the road. But we're making friends. Guys, directly across the street from where we're set up, just a few months ago, there was a suicide. A guy walked out onto the steps and shot himself, killed himself, ended his life. So not only are we doing outreach there, we are praying with people, we're sharing Jesus, we're proclaiming the gospel, but we are praying for the area, okay? We want to change the spiritual climate of the area. So we want to push back the darkness, okay? And if there's whatever ground that's been gained by the demonic, we want to claim it back for Jesus. And we want to say, hey, this area belongs to God, and then we'll come for more area. Okay, so that's what's going on. And the church is backing this. Now, we haven't had anybody from the church come out yet because people are working. It's hard to get out. So we're going to have a Saturday outreach within the next month, and that's going to be a bigger deal. We want to do more stuff with that. So we'll let you know more about that. I'll try to keep everybody updated. So anyway, we're just tuning in. I'm just giving an update on what's been going on with Through the Black. The Lord has opened the door for me to work with church. Okay. So let me just say that we are looking at and praying about a conference for 2025. Okay. Don't have any details that I can give about that. Not 100% sure it's going to happen. Okay. But have a green light to do it at this church. Okay. So pray about that. If you're listening to this, pray that the Lord would open the door and that this conference would be even better than the last one, which was the Out of the Darkness conference in 2023. And people's lives will be touched, people will be trained, people will be set free, all that stuff. So we're praying about how we can just kind of do something like that. So this is the newest bit of information, and thanks guys for hanging out with me this morning. Thank you for sharing the video. Thank you for commenting and thumbs up and all that you do. Thank you for praying for us, and thank you for supporting us financially. Okay. I'm going to be putting a video on the support page, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, about a breakdown of what happens financially when people donate Through the Black. Okay. People don't know. People are very just amazing and supportive, but they don't know how the money is spent. And I'm going to explain how the money is spent. So it's pretty simple. There's not a lot to it. Okay. We've got bills that need to be paid, and it also goes to support me so we can do this full-time ministry. So I can do this full-time ministry, and I am just blown away by the support over the years. So thank you guys. Hopefully I'll have that out in the next couple of weeks, and we'll let you know when it is out. So here's the newest thing that I want to announce, and I'm pretty excited about this. I just got the green light to do Freedom Encounters at the church. So sometime soon, and we don't know, we don't have a plan for this, okay? We are going to start doing Freedom Encounters at the church. And what I think this is going to look like is we're going to have one day a week where people can come and get prayed for, whatever the need is, okay? Maybe people show up in person, or maybe people make an appointment to do like a Zoom or a phone call. Okay. But we want to have a day set aside every week that where people can come and get prayed for. So this is really, really amazing, and it's kind of taken some time to get to this point. And I'm just thanking God for it. I'm also, I don't want to say I'm nervous, but I'm anticipating warfare. Okay, so that's why your guys' prayers are so important, and I'm so thankful for the prayers. So anyway, I'll try to recap this in a minute, but it was almost a year ago where someone at the church reached out to me and asked me to come and speak. And then the first Sunday in January, I spoke at the church. I spoke on prayer. Then I spoke on, what did I speak on the second time? I can't remember. On God's word, the Bible, or maybe that was reversed. Can't remember which one I did which. And then I'm speaking almost every month this year, and I'm in the regular rotation. So I'm going to be speaking next month and the next month, and I speak one time a month. So we do not have a pastor at this church right now. The pastor left a couple years ago, and there's a pastor shortage. There's a pastor problem in America. It's a what would you say? I would say it's a crisis. Okay. A lot of pastors left during the C-19, and they never found anybody to replace them. So churches are either closing because they don't have any leadership, or they're doing what we're doing. Maybe I don't know if anybody other churches are doing what we're doing there, but we're keeping this thing running, and we anticipate growth. We anticipate revival. We anticipate amazing things happen from God. Well, we anticipate lots of evangelism, lots of fruit. Okay. And we're just kind of boots on the ground training as we go. So when I was mentioning the idea of doing freedom encounters on the other day, one of the board members said, I want to learn how to do this. I want to get trained on how to do this. So this is really good. So, I mean, the plan is we're going to keep trying to train people in evangelism. The gospel is the foundation. Okay. And then what we do, beyond that is all an extension of that. Right? When we do, when we give somebody, a sandwich in Jesus' name, that's part of the gospel. When we pray for them, freedom encounter, people come, they have all kinds of needs. So I was in Cincinnati a couple weeks ago. We went down there. We did a REAP trip, and there's other places in Ohio that I want to go. Guys, I'm totally I totally jumped out of the story I was telling, but this is all relevant. I've really been feeling that I want to focus on this town where I live. Now, it doesn't mean we're not going to do anything anywhere else, but I'm going to try to be disciplined to focus on this town, because there are thousands of people that need freedom encounters, thousands of people that are struggling, whatever it is, okay, and that need Jesus. So where does Through the Black come in? Through the Black comes in this way. Here I am. This is the way anybody engages with me, mostly is online. And we don't have a lot of listeners. We used to a few years ago, before we got our first our first YouTube channel taken away. But we want to model this for around the world. And we've already seen some cool things happening. When I did the first outreach, people were like, man, I could do this in my town. So that's what we want to do. And that's what we want you to do. Okay. You could do this at your church. You could do this at your town. Okay. Outreach, freedom encounters, you're trained. Okay. All of the training is on our website. So go to throughtheblack.com, and it's right here. Do you see that? Go to throughtheblack.com, click on the Rust tab, and there's the courses. This is the way I recommend taking the courses: is take Confronting the Powers, take theocentric counseling, and then take freedom encounters. Okay, that's the way I would recommend taking them. They're free, and a lot of people start those courses, but they don't finish them because there's so much spiritual warfare involved. But I've taken some of them a couple times. There's more courses there, of course. More courses, of course. Anyway, so I started speaking at this church. Then they asked me if I would be on the board. I got elected to the board. So now I'm a part of the leadership. So one of the things that happened is Rob and I, you go to this church, and we went a couple times and we prayed, and we didn't know what was going to happen with the church. But I said, Lord, if this church is going to die, then one of my prayers was like, give us this building, not, I mean, that's a pretty bold prayer, but it was a sincere prayer. We didn't know, a rumor going around, but the good news is the church did not die. The good news is there are people there that are holding it up and making it happen. And God, I believe, answered the prayer by bringing me back to the church. I didn't have anything against anybody in the church. I left for different reasons, and God has brought me back to this church. Everything is in his timing. He is just doing amazing things. Okay. So as I've been a part of the board, I'm just doing what I know how to do, introducing what I think is going to be good for the church. Okay. We're either growing, or we're dying, or we're plateauing, which means we're dying. Okay. And I've said a lot of these things to the church. We don't want to be a church on life support. We don't want to be dying. We want to thrive, and we can thrive in Jesus Christ, right? We absolutely believe that. But unfortunately, churches across this land and around the world are not tapped into the power. Okay. Well, we are planning on moving forward no matter what happens. We're living in crazy times. I mean, obviously, we know in the next couple months there's going to be an election, and it's going to be completely insane no matter what happens. So we want to, there's going to be a lot of need because of that. And there's going to be a lot of opportunity for evangelism because of that. So we want to be there. And not only do we want to see this church thrive, we want to see every Bible believing church in this town thrive. I know of a church that's sitting on the other side of town that's sitting empty right now. The building is paid for, but they don't have a pastor. They didn't have leadership, and the church died. I have been in talks with the conference and the denomination that owns that church. And I don't need another thing to do, but I said, hey, is there anything I can do? Because we need that church alive. That church that is sitting empty right now, that church was on fire when my daughter was born 24 years ago. Powerful revival was taking place. Now it sits empty. It's a shame, but I believe God can bring those dead bones back to life. Okay. So I love the church I'm at. God has put me here, and I am definitely loyal to this church, but I'm loyal to the body of Christ. That's the bigger church. We're a small part, and the church I'm a part of is a good church. They're just like any church. It's not perfect. So, but I'm telling you that the ground is fertile to plant seeds, and these precious people are ready to grow. Okay. So I've seen some amazing things. I've had some amazing conversations with the people, young and old and in between. And guys, I didn't do this. The Lord did this. And I'm not going to quit doing Through the Black. We're not going to quit doing this ministry. We're not going to quit, reaching as many people as we can. And we kind of lean towards helping people out of the darkness. Okay. I was at Outreach last Thursday, and we were just sitting there, and we had some people that we prayed for, and it kind of died down. The foot traffic kind of died down. And I just said a prayer. I was like, Lord, I don't want to just sit here and talk to Rob. I want to engage somebody. We want to meet people. We want to talk about you. At that moment, somebody walked around the corner and I talked to him for 3 hours. And we had an amazing conversation. I'm looking forward to picking it back up this week. So, guys, God is doing amazing things with Through the Black, and it is in connection. It's in partnership with this church. And I tell you, I used to be a part of the board years ago of this church, and maybe you've heard me talk about it in the past because it wasn't a positive thing. It was a very negative thing. And anytime I had a board meeting, it ruined my night and it ruined my whole next day, just because of the lack of biblical authority, really, I think. So anyway, this board, these people that are in charge of the leadership of this church, they want to surrender to God's will. And they want the Spirit of God to move. I've seen that. And I've watched them. And they said it with their mouth and they demonstrated it with their actions. These guys are not perfect. I'm not perfect. If you're in the area and you want to visit a church that really wants to grow, this is a good place. So anyway, guys, good things are happening. We are going to just continue to move forward with Through the Black. This ministry is not going to go away. And we're trying to keep things going. Folks, I feel like I got 10 balls in the air as I'm juggling, okay? And I just can't say no when it comes to ministry. I want to help everybody, but it's impossible to help everybody. But man, it would be great if, but when God answers the prayer, Lord, send more workers to the harvest. The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. And we want to model what we're doing with Freedom Encounters and outreach and discipleship and all that stuff for anybody out there that's watching on this channel, and then however else we put it out there. Okay. So I hope that we hear from you guys and we hear, hey, wow, we're going to do that in our town. We're going to do outreach in our town. You know what? I was talking with Katie last night. We don't need to complicate it. Just like Pastor Sean did. He just put up a tent and said, hey, anybody need prayer? That opens the door. That opens the door. One thing that I do, and then I learned this from Russ Dizdar years ago, and Rob commented on it last week, and he's like, I like how you say that. And what Russ used to say to people is, hey, are you doing all right? And that's kind of that's a question that kind of opens the door for anybody that needs to have a shoulder to lean on. Okay. Not everybody's going to answer that honestly, but it opens up the door for people to say, no, I'm not doing all right. Hey, well, that opens the door to, hey, is there anything I can pray for you about, or what's going on? Do you need to talk about anything? I learned that from Russ. I watched him do that. He would just say, walking down the street, hey, you doing okay? And one time I saw a guy get mad at Russ for asking him that question, and I think one of the reasons is because Russ was inside and I came out and I asked him that question first. And then Russ came out and asked him the same question, and the guy got mad for whatever reason. And then we knew something was wrong, right? And we were like, hey, are you doing okay? And Russ was like, hey, you doing all right? He's like, what do you mean by that? It was hilarious. And Russ got into it with this guy. So I don't know. It was funny because I saw Russ. He was like just kind of mad that this guy was just like getting sassy with him. So he was just like playing with him at that point. The guy got mad because he asked, are you doing okay? So Russ was kind of trolling him in a way, and it was hilarious. The guy was getting like irate, but that happened a long time ago. But anyway, one thing that I've done for years is tell people, hey, I'm going to pray. I'm going to be praying for you about that. And when you do that, they may not have a reaction right now, but it could be a couple weeks. It could be a few months, but they're going to be like, hey, Tom Dunn said he was praying for me. Maybe he's somebody I could go to pray for me now, or to seek advice, or to get spiritual advice. Maybe he knows something. Just saying that you're praying for somebody or asking, can I pray for you, is just a powerful way to open a door of evangelism. So anyway, lots of amazing things happening here. I'm really excited for what God has done. He's done all this. I didn't ask for this, and I didn't run into it very enthusiastically. I just kind of waited. Yeah, hey, and pray for Jane and Vic. So, guys, if anybody's seeing this, whether in the archives or in the chat, say a prayer for those guys. But I was like, Lord, if this is you, you're really going to have to just make it happen. And God has made it happen. This is what's going on. And we're going to continue to do everything that we're doing. The church may not be ready for a lot of the things we do, but that's okay. We're still here. We're through the black, spiritual warfare and stuff. That's kind of our motto, if you will. And we want to engage people, want to train people, and disciple people, edify the church. Okay, so guys, again, I want to thank everybody for praying for us. I'm just kind of swallowing hard, like, I know these next couple months are going to be tough, because there's going to be a lot of things that we're doing spiritual warfare wise. Okay, and there's blowback from that. Okay, where the enemy comes after us because he doesn't want us to do these things, and it is us off guard sometime, and we're pretty good at fighting. We're pretty good at doing preemptive strikes. We want to shut down the enemy before he even gets to our gate, right? And we know how to protect ourselves. We know how to pray and all that, but we're only human, right? And the enemy just keeps battering and battering and battering until he finds a weakness in our security. And that's true for me. It's true for you. So we are in some ways more exposed. We're out on the front lines. We're more visible than a lot of people. And a lot of people are behind the scenes praying for us. We appreciate that. The financial support, thank you so much. Guys, like, again, a lot of that goes into gas. It goes into any ministry activity that we do. Sometimes we feed people. Sometimes we buy a lot of Bibles for people. We buy books for people. And we're able to spend time with people. Okay. It takes a lot of time to do that. And sometimes I get the weekends off. Sometimes I don't. Okay. There's a lot of work that goes in to all this. So for anybody that's coming in late, I am going to try to make a video in the next couple of weeks explaining the breakdown of the finances of Through the Black, and explaining how people, where the money goes when people donate it. Okay. So I hope to get that up. It's going to be a boring video. Don't watch it if you don't want to know. I'm even going to make it an unlisted video because we're going to push it out there on everybody. But we want to be transparent about the way that we run things here. And so guys, again, thank you for the prayers. Amazing things are happening. I'll just do a recap. I'm speaking Sunday morning about the rules of engagement, about the authority of Christ. Okay, what an amazing opportunity to speak about this in a church. Starting our Wednesday, the 2nd of October, Rob and I are going to be teaching a 6-week class called Cutting Edge Christianity. That's what we're calling it now. We do an outreach on Thursdays, and that's been going great. We get there about 10, and we go to 2, and we just set up a tent, and people walk by, and we engage them with conversation, with prayer, whatever. So, and we're just hoping to see that grow. Okay. We're going to be doing a Saturday outreach sometime. By the way, if you're in the Mid Ohio area, if you're close and you want to come and join us for prayer or for outreach on Thursdays, send us an email. We'll let you know how to do that. We're close to downtown Mansfield. And Saturday outreach is going to be coming up within the next month. We'll let you know the details on that if you want to get involved in that. That's hopefully it'll be a little bit of a bigger event. I got green light to do Freedom Encounters at the church. So we're hoping that this is going to be consistent, and we're hoping that we're able to train a lot of people on how to do this. So just a couple people don't have to do all the work. Okay. We're really going to need prayer. Anyway, we need people, we need women, we need men, we need people to be able to do this, right? So anyway, yeah, it would be great if we could do live stream and the teachings from the church service. We're trying to figure all that out, and yeah, we want to be able to do that. So hopefully we can get that up and running sometime. Possible conference in 2025. I would say it's about 75% right now. It's going to depend on a few things, but we're looking at doing a conference in 2025. And if that happens, then we will give you more details about that. Guys, we want to see people discipled and trained, and Through the Black's going to do that, but we're doing it in partnership with this church now called Freedom Ridge. It's at 2200 Bedford Boulevard in Ontario, Ohio. It's across from Sam's Club. So anyway, that's what's been going on. I hope to see some of you guys out there. I can't wait to see the response. And thanks again for the prayers and for the support, guys. So as soon as I switch back over here, I am going to be signing out, except for I lost my spot. Hey, guys, God bless you. We will see you next time. Bye.